Welcome everyone. Welcome to the Zen and the New Testament. And we're entering into a meditative zone, you could say. So sit back and relax. I found something in A Course in Miracles that is really beautiful and very helpful to see what's going on. And what is asked of you.
Tout ce qui t'est demandé, c'est de faire de la place pour la vérité. Il ne t'est pas demandé de faire ce qui est au-delà de la compréhension. Tout ce qui t'est demandé de faire, c'est de la laisser entrer, d'arrêter seulement de faire interférence avec ce qui arrivera de soi-même. Simplement de reconnaître à nouveau la présence de ce dont tu pensais être départi. Sois désireux, pour un instant, de laisser tes autels libres de ce que tu y as placé, et tu ne pourras manquer de voir ce qui est réellement là. L'instant saint n'est pas un instant de création, mais de reconnaissance, car la reconnaissance vient de la vision et de la suspension du jugement. Alors seulement il est possible de regarder au-dedans et de voir ce qui doit être là, bien en vue et entièrement indépendant de toute interférence et de tout jugement.
All that is asked of you is to make room for truth. Right now. You're not asked to make or do what lies beyond your understanding. All you're asked to do is to let it in. Only to stop your interference with what will happen of itself. Simply to recognize again the presence of what you thought you gave away. Be willing for an instant to leave your altars free of what you've placed upon them and what is really there you cannot fail to see. The holy instant is not an instant of creation, but of recognition. For recognition comes of vision and suspended judgment. Then only is it possible to look within and see what must be there, plainly in sight, and wholly independent of interference and judgment. All that is asked of you is to make room for truth. You're not asked to make or do what lies beyond your understanding. All you're asked to do is to let it in, only to stop your interference with what will happen of itself. Simply to recognize again the presence of what you thought you gave away. Be willing for an instant to leave your altars free of what you placed upon them, and what is really there you cannot fail to see. The holy instant is not an instant of creation, but of recognition. for recognition comes of vision and suspended judgment. Then only is it possible to look within and to see what must be there, plainly in sight, and wholly independent of interference and judgment. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in this beautiful, say, meditation. And yeah, the meditation is a clear instruction, in fact, to leave your altar clean. So today, in the expressions of Zen, as well as the New Testament, as well as, like here, I use the Course in Miracles. In fact, we continue. The one thing that you might have recognized by now, that like there's really one curriculum, there's one way of learning, and that's your way of learning. That's how things are coming to you. Like everything is part of that, whether we call it New Testament and Zen, or whether you call it who knows what, Master Teacher Tape Group. There's a continuation and a plan behind the appearances and names and forms that we use that continues like on a daily basis, which is really beautiful to see that. Now here today we the title of it, as I put on the website, was like in the planning of the new Zen in the New Testament, is the beginning of the Word. So the Word is really the thing. Now, the Word, reading that in different Bibles, I thought, for instance, John, the Gospel of John, that it was an Aramaic Gospel, but apparently it is a Greek Gospel. It wasn't written in Aramaic, or it wasn't taken down in Aramaic, but it was taken down in Greek. And what difference does that make? Well, see, it is all a matter of, at a certain point in time, certain languages are available. And that determines what expressions are used and what way it can be expressed. Like the Old Testament, the Hebrew and Greek was there, and some older languages, and they use certain ways of expressing themselves. In the newer languages, like the Aramaic and the Greek, you have also, like in the New Testament, different ways of expressing. So that's another thing. So because we use, in fact, 3 layers of that. And the third layer is then, for instance, A Course in Miracles. So the Course in Miracles is written, or was given to us, is taken down in American English. And not in British English, in American English. It was literally taken down in Columbia University. And here, you see, that has a certain language. There are certain words used to express truth. Now, the great line behind all of this is, of course, the truth itself doesn't need to be defined. The truth itself is expressing itself in whatever language, no language. It's free of that. So you can say, like in the Old Testament, there's sufficient truth kept in it, despite all the translations from the old languages into Latin, into English, into whatever language you speak. And so so it is with the Dogen translation too. It's like we use the book, say I always forget it when I'm in a meeting. It's like the treasury of the true Dharma eye. That was it. The treasury of the true Dharma eye. So that is a translation from original scripts from 1200 into Japanese probably first, then translated into modern day English. So that's interesting too. Like that's in the middle of the section that we actually didn't cover in the biblical references, because in that time the Bible was already, like after 300 years, the Bible was in fact, say hidden more or less. It was hidden. It was like forbidden scripture, and so only in, I don't know, for you in whatever country you live, I know from the Dutch, the first Dutch translation from Latin into Dutch was probably around 1800, or maybe, I think 1870. It was the first Staten Bible, as it was called. But like that was the first translation into Dutch. So it was accessible to the ones who were reading it. Like that was after the Reformation. Now, but in the time between, it was a Latin book that only if you were a scholar, you could read it. You had to have the Latin language to your avail to actually read it. So these things are not really like super important, but it's more like there's a story behind all of it, and there's a language. There's, for instance, the word is coming to us today. Now this word, I'll read it from John 1, like, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was light, and the light shined the darkness away, and the darkness was no more. That's a definition. That's a statement of truth. And now here's the thing then. That's immediately a statement of your true essence. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word is God. The God is I am. In the beginning was I am. In the beginning was the Word, I am. Was God, was light, was love, was extension, was everything, was cosmos, was universe. Like all of that. So this is a whole story. This is a whole idea. It's not a story, but it's a whole idea. And that's why it's not understandable. That's why it is truth representing itself as your essence. And so the same trouble, in fact, trying to express it in words, is also available in the Zen literature. So that's what we're going to use too. That's interesting if you look at it like that. It's like try to express the unexpressible. Well, here's your chance. And that they had the same trouble, and trouble in the sense of it is not definable. It is not actually able. You're not able to put it into words. And still, words we use as a way to come to an acceptance of what is actually already ours. So that's one part I want to cover today. So the other part is this, and you saw this in the meditation. Like if truth is true, if the Word is the Word, and the Word is everything there is, then there's nothing to add to it. And that's, you can understand that. And so it is with our meditation. Why do we vacate our mind? Why do we keep an open mind? Why don't we put anything on the altar? Why do we do that? Because it is complete and whole and perfect. Everything is already there. So the only thing that you do with your human mind, with your, I don't care what tradition you follow. This is the thing you do with your mind, is say, putting something on the altar, or having an idea about something that you think you need in order to completion. And with the capital C, you try to complete completion, the last word with the capital C. And there's no need to, of course. That's why we say, like, let your world collapse. There's nothing lost, because whatever you imagine isn't there in the first place. It has no reality. Now you replaced it with reality, and you started to believe it was your reality. That's the only thing that's occurring. Now in our practice, so to step one layer deeper into it, it's like in our practice, we come to the relinquishment of our whole structure, of our whole thing that we have made up to replace truth, to give an alternative to truth, to bring in something that we identified with as our story, our need, our creation. Yeah. So that is what we do continuously. Your mind is literally trained to do it. Like it does build up all kinds of ideas all the time. It has judgments, it has opinions, it has insights, it has all kinds of things that it thinks that it adds up to what is already complete. I say it specifically like this because you hear that it is already complete. You know this. It's like you know this, but you cannot help yourself trying to improve reality. Good luck. And it exhausts you, and it's painful. It is hopeless. It is you see proof that it doesn't work, and when you're a human being, the only thing that is really like activated is your defense. Like, no, it's working. Oh, wait, just a moment. Let me try this. Let me try that. Let me try other options to make my failure work. To add something to reality. To add something, like we say even this is a very normal way of expression, like you want to leave the world behind as a better place. That's your purpose in life, to leave it behind as a better place for the continuation of it. Like, no, this world isn't real. It has nothing to do with what you think is adding something to complete it. So that's the interesting part in awakening then. It's like that is your only option, to awaken, because otherwise you keep trying to improve reality. And there's nothing to improve on it. But it's also like it is an active denial of what is already there. And this is what we saw in the chapter 21, in the meditation. No, it's a recognition of what is already there. The holy instant isn't a moment of creation. No, it's a moment of recognition of what is already there. Well, this is perfect. It's perfect. There's nothing to add to it. That's why it doesn't hurt to let your world collapse. Because literally you're not missing out on anything. It wasn't there in the first place. It had no reality in the first place. You want to know who you truly are? Well, you have to relinquish your construct. Now this all you know very well. Now but the application of it is of course different. The application is different. The experience behind the application is totally different too. And this is why we, in fact, practice the holy instant continuously. Relinquish your ideas. Let your world fall apart. Recognize that you have no idea what's the best for you. Admit that you're powerless over your tendency to improve reality. With all the good intentions. You have good intentions, But good intentions avail you nothing if it is used to improve something that's already perfect. Yeah. So yeah, there you go. That's ego deflating. It is embarrassing. It is frustrating. It does all the things that, yeah. So I want to mention that plainly, and I love to have a straight talk with you. All right, so now we have two courses in this meal, and one of them is a mixture of Zen salad, and miracle mindedness, and the other one is pure Zen, and I think we start with that. Pure Zen is an interesting, in fact, an interesting introduction into the dissolving of your good intentions, for one thing, thinking that reality needs something. It's like it is really pure Zen in that sense. So it's something to be recognized, something to be experienced, more than something to be understood. So that's called the three realms of the whole mind. From the treasury of the True Dharma Eye, Soto Zen Buddhism, Kyoto, Japan, 2023. Original script from 1200s. Great Master Sakya said, "The three realms are only one mind. Outside the mind, there's no other Dharma. The mind, the Buddha, and the living beings, these are without distinction. Now these three realms are all my property, and the living beings within them are all my children. Not as the three realms do I see the three realms. Great Master Zongyi of Kshangsha Cloister asked Great Master Zenjin of the Dizan Cloister, "The three realms are only one mind. How do you understand it?" Zenjin pointed to a chair and said, "What does the Reverend call this?" The Great Master said, "A chair." Zenjin said, "The Reverend doesn't understand. The three realms are only one mind." The Great Master said, "I call it bamboo and wood. What do you call it?" Zenjin said, "Guijin also calls it bamboo and wood." The Great Master said, "I can't find a single person on all the whole earth who understands the Buddha Dharma." So, like I said, this is not necessarily understandable what is being shared. So the three realms is only one mind, and then they start to. In fact, you see, the description is like it's my property, like I own it. It is my wholeness. It is mine, and this is a recognition that you have with the Word. The Word was God, and the Word is light. The Word is everything that there is, and all that was made, everything. So here it is, like the three realms are one mind. There's only one mind. There's only one thing. All aspects of it are mine. Like literally, that's what I am. And all living beings in it are the children. It's like all this you see back in the New Testament too. It's like it is all inclusive. It is whole. There's nothing outside of it. It is not definable, yet it encompasses everything that is real. So this is the same idea as I started with the meditation. It's like letting everything collapse all the time, letting everything evaporate that was an illusion in the first place, letting all that disappear, and not being afraid to lose anything. No, it is just to open your eyes and recognize what is true about you. It's all inclusive. It's already here. It's complete and whole and perfect. It's shining in the reflection of the love of God. It is right here. It is everything that's given. Now, so it takes active denial not to accept it. And that's of course the antagonistic part in it, like the resistance to it. There's a reason why this is being resisted up to the point that it isn't. When the resistance is gone, you're gone. That like you are the embodiment of the resistance. So what is left is what was always there and what will always be there. Where do you find yourself? Right here. What are you doing? When that would happen, you would do the same thing. But you see, there's no occurrence. There's no steps to it. There's no path to it. It is the realization. It is the realization of what is already there. That's not even an event. So this helps also to let your spiritual path collapse, because before you know it, I recognize, and like before you know it, you start to build up an idea that you're doing something within your spiritual path. Like, well, that does not come to an accomplishment. Your spiritual path is in path of undoing. It goes the other way around. It's not an accomplishment. It is literally getting out of the way in order to see what is already yours. And this getting out of the way is what we call vacating your mind, is what we call keeping your altar empty, is stepping back and letting the light do the work, or letting the light guide you. Like, there's no accomplishment in that. No, there's only a you, as long as you have an idea about yourself, that needs to step back out of it. And this you is very well trained in judgment. We saw this last night too, or yesterday, in the previous meeting. It's like we saw this. It's like there's judgment, there's conflict, there's all kinds of ingredients you can take out of your storage of investments in order to stay in your denial. And yeah, you can do that as long as you want, but it doesn't make reality less real. It doesn't make truth less true. And no, it is not an accomplishment of any kind to maintain it or sustain the dream. So that's real tough Zen training that we're doing. Like you do all this, you put your effort in it, you give it everything, you invest in it, time, money, presence, in order to not get anything, in fact, back for it. Like there's no exchange going on here. No, it's just an undoing. No, it's not that. No, it's not that. No, it's not what I think it is. No, this is not a chair. No, this is not even bamboo and wood. No, there's no object there. There's nothing going on here. It's meaningless. The whole thing is nothing. That's the only thing that you're going to see. Is that an accomplishment? No. No, it is an awakening. That's all. And the awakening takes place and there's no memory of what you did before. The Word. In the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of man. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and the Word is I am. Truth is true. Nothing else is true. Everything meets in God, because everything was created by him and in him. Everything meets in God, because everything was created by him and in him. Zen Master Baoji of Mount Pan said, "The mind moon, alone and full, its light swallows the myriad forms. It's not that the light illumines the object, nor that the object remains. Light and object both gone. Now what is it? The mind moon, alone and full, its light swallows the myriad forms. It's not that the light illumines the object, nor that the object remains. Light and object, both gone. Now what is it? Being without illusion of what you are. The Holy Spirit merely gives everything to God who has already given and received all that is true. The untrue he has neither received nor given. Being without illusion of what you are, the Holy Spirit merely gives everything to God, who has already given and received all that is true. The untrue he has neither received nor given. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. So the practice, in fact, is what we're doing right now. Is like letting that all fall apart, letting that all fall apart. And so far, you might have used that, even in your meditations, in your spiritual path. You might have used that to continue on with the illusion, to continue on with so-called your life or your existence, to use it as a means to quiet down, and then you can go on in your life. And so this is interesting. So the relinquishment part of the undoing part in the practice of the day brings in fact the same message continuously. We notice in the practice too. It's like whether you set yourself up in a monastery and meditate every hour, 15 minutes or so, or whether you are at home, whether you are confronted with a lot of, say, decisions that you think you have to make, or all kinds of conflicts that are running around in your awareness, or who knows what happens, like the answer to that is in fact always the same. That is the most simple of everything. It's like what is true has always been true. What is not true has never existed. So it's like you come to the point of acceptance of that, for things to resolve, for things to heal, to become whole again, to be remembering what is actually going on, but not to continue back into the illusion. Like this step will be broken too, in a sense. Like that step, you don't do this. We say we don't do this for becoming healthier, wealthier, or wiser. No, it is like here is the moment that is real. Here is everything given to you without exception, and you will be brought back to this moment. However you detour into your world, into your existence, into whatever you think is so important, you will come back to the same place. It's like you sit under the Bodhi tree. You sit under the tree, and that's the only real occurrence. Nothing else is going on. Now you can, apparently you go everywhere and do all kinds of things, but in order to return back to this, it is the same, like you pick up ideas to somehow keep yourself busy in time, to come back to the same spot where nothing happened. Now that's in fact what we just read too from A Course in Miracles, was that. It's like, that's in fact the same message. We know God doesn't know about this place. Why doesn't he know about this place? Because whatever is occurring, what seems to be occurring here, has nothing to do with reality. So there's no recollection, there's no reality to it, so there's not a real occurrence, there's not a real conflict. And we call this like the beautiful, the idea of forgiveness. Forgiveness is then recognizing that what you think your brother did to you has actually not occurred. Standing still in the present moment, like allowing this moment to be whole, is everything you can do, but it will also suffice, like it will be sufficient for you in all your affairs, which you don't really have anymore then, because you're brought to places, but you are still in the same realization. You go everywhere and you go nowhere, with no goal to achieve, with no accomplishment, with no motive, with none of these things to recognize I'm right here. I don't move, I don't go anywhere, I'm still here. Like, you really become aware that everything is within you. There's nothing outside of you. There is nothing that you need to do for anyone outside of you in that sense. See, I was tempted to read something else, but then I don't want to go too deep into the Buddhistic teaching, because in order to read it, you have to know the language. And this is where language comes in. It's like you have to know certain words in order to make any of it. And the expressions that are given, for instance, in the Dogen book, have such an incredible variety, so many different sources where it comes from. Of course, reflecting the one idea, but there's also a whole transformational journey in Buddhism that you can recognize when you read through the book. So what I mean with that is, like, if you would compare it to Joel Goldsmith. Joel was teaching in 1948, I think, for the first time. He taught differently than in 1964. Like, he underwent a transformation, and that also changed the language that he used and the way that he taught, even though he was teaching truth. And the same here with the Buddhistic tradition. I'm going to play some music. Thank you so much for your presence today in the Zen and the New Testament. Next week we dive a little bit into altruism and Zen and New Testament.